Hey, what's going on? It's Mario out here, and I'm gonna be reviewing some ratios and rates that we learned. So to start off, I'm gonna be telling you something about ratios. So ratios don't compare two numbers are more than, less than, or equal to. Instead, the ratios are a relationship between two numbers by division. So an example would be, let's say in a classroom, someone brings a tray of cupcakes, right? But there's not enough cupcakes for everyone. And let's say the teacher says that each person has to share one cupcake. So let's say there's a cupcake, right? Right there. This cupcake. So it would be one cupcake per two people. Two people right here. So that would be a ratio because you're comparing, or it's a more like a relationship, because two people will have to share one cupcake. So they would have to like split it in half, one half for each, one half for the other. So it would be shown like this. And also it can be shown by this. So it'd be one cupcake, two people. Right? Another example would be, let's say you have right here. You have here, you see three circles and two triangles. So here the ratio would be, it would be comparing circles to triangles. Now, there are two triangles and there are three circles. So that's the comparison right there. We actually use ratios in everyday lives. So someone, for example, someone like a baker, could use this to call for recipes. So for example, the recipe calls for 2 cups of flour. So let's say those are 2 cups flour for per one of sugar. So right there, that's a ratio because you're comparing 2 cups of flour to one of sugar. And it would be written like, right here, sugar. So it would be written like 2 to 1, or 1 to 2. There you go. So drivers can also use ratios when they're driving because they sometimes compare how many miles they cover by like how long it took them to cover those amount of miles. So since this involves periods of time, it is also it is a different type of ratio that it's called a rate. So here an example. Some examples are 10 meters per 1 second, or some people that work out there, $12 per hour, stuff like that. So yeah, that they compare periods of time. You can also have a relationship like 90 miles in 9 seconds, but you may wanna like if you can't, like most times you wanna convert them to an equivalent rate. So that means that you would make the bottom number a 1, and that way it becomes easier to compare them. So an example would be, so let's say two cars are driving at two different rates. So the first car, so let's say that's a car. There you go. And then here's a Bugatti, like that. There you go. And then, so the first car drives at 120 miles per 3 hours. And then this car drives at 150 miles per 5 hours. So the question is, which one is higher? So which rate is higher? So in this case, it would not be easy to determine that because the bottom numbers are different. It's a 3 and a 5. So in order to change that into a 1, so they both can have a 1, all you do is divide the top number by the bottom number, and these are called unit rates because unit rates refer to one. So here you have the 120 miles, 3 hours. So you would divide 120 divided by 3, which would equal you to 40 miles per 1 hour. So that would be your new rate. So 1 mile for 40 miles in 1 hour. And then the next one would be 150 miles per 5 hours. There you go. And you divide 150 by 5, it will give you 30 miles per 7 hours. So here we can see which one, I made a mistake here. It'd be per 1 hour. Yeah, there you go. That's way better. So here we can compare them and see which rate is higher. So for example, car number 1 would have the higher rate because it goes 40 miles in 1 hour. Well, the Bugatti here only goes for 30 miles per 1 hour. So there you guys have it. I hope you remember now what rates and ratios are, and I hope it helped to refreshen your memory. Thank you. Peace out.